Evan had only lived on the alien planet Voronok for 3 weeks, but every day already felt like a test. The gravity was heavier. The air smelled like warm metal, and the sky had 3 moons that watched the world like giant eyes. Evan tried to stay positive. He needed money, he needed work, and he needed peace. But on the 7th night, peace ended with one loud knock. The wooden door of his small room shook like it would break. Evan froze. Only one person on this planet could knock like that. His landlord. His very large, very strong, very short-tempered Threxian landlord, Rykala. She stood 8 feet tall, built like a warrior statue, with dark purple skin and glowing silver eyes. Even her shadow looked dangerous. Evan opened the door slowly, praying she would not be in a bad mood. But one look at her face told him she was absolutely in a bad mood. Rykala crossed her giant arms, her voice deep and sharp. "So you say you can't pay your rent?" Evan swallowed hard. He knew this moment would come, but he had hoped for one more day. Maybe 2. Rykala. "I lost my job at the docking station. They replaced all humans with robots yesterday. I am trying to find new work. I just need a little more time." Her eyes narrowed. "Time does not keep the lights on in my tower. Time does not repair the roof. Time does not." She stopped suddenly. Her eyes moved past Evan, scanning the small room like she sensed something invisible. Evan followed her gaze, confused. Nothing looked different. The bed, the washing unit, the metal floor. Everything was normal, but Rykala stepped inside slowly, her footsteps shaking the wooden boards. She sniffed the air, her nostrils flaring like an animal tracking something. Evan's heart kicked faster. What? What happened? Did I do something wrong? She did not answer. She moved to the window, opened it, and sniffed again. Her muscles tensed. She looked like she was ready to fight someone. "Evan," she said quietly, "when did you last leave the tower?" "Earlier today," Evan said. "I went to the market to ask for work." "Why? Did someone complain about me?" "No," she said, turning to face him. "Someone followed you." Evan blinked. "Followed me? Who? Why would anyone follow a human?" "That is what I am trying to understand," Rykala muttered. "But your scent is different tonight. Someone touched your door. Someone marked it." "Marked?" Evan repeated. "What does that even mean?" Before she could answer, something made a soft, scraping sound outside the hallway. Rykala reacted instantly. She pushed Evan behind her, raising a large metal hammer she carried at her waist. Her muscles tightened, and her silver eyes glowed brighter. The door moved. A low growl echoed through the wooden panels. Evan's breath stopped. Rykala swung the door open, ready to attack, but the hall was empty. Only cold air entered the room. She stepped outside for a moment. Evan waited, scared to even breathe. When she returned, something dark was in her hand. She placed it on the table. Evan leaned close, and his stomach dropped. It was a long, deep claw mark carved into the wood of his door panel. The mark was fresh. The edges were still smoking, like the creature that made it burned as it touched the building. Evan stepped back. "What is that?" "What made that?" "A hunter," Rykala said softly. "Or something worse. I thought this planet was safe," Evan whispered. "For humans." "Usually yes," she said. "But you? Someone has taken interest in you. And I do not like that." Evan felt fear crawl up his spine. "Are they trying to scare me?" "No," she said. "This is not a warning. This is a claim. A claim. Claim me for what?" Rykala looked at him with an expression he had never seen before. Not anger, not annoyance, but something like worry on Voronok. A claw mark means someone believes you belong to them. Evan's heartbeat thumped loudly in his ears. "But I don't belong to anyone, that," she said. "Staring at the burnt mark is what we must fix." Because someone out there disagrees. Evan opened his mouth to speak, but Rykala cut him off. From this moment, you do not leave your room alone. And you do not open your door for anyone but me. But why me? Evan asked, voice shaking. Rykala stepped closer, towering over him like a living wall, because whatever is hunting you fears me. Part 1 ends with Rykala standing guard, the claw mark glowing faintly behind them, a silent promise that Evan's quiet life is over. And something dangerous has already chosen him. Evan could not sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the glowing claw mark burned into his door. He kept hearing the low growl in his memory, the sound of something powerful breathing just outside his room. He felt small, fragile, and horribly lost on this alien world. But Rykala did not sleep either. She sat on a stone stool near the door, holding her metal hammer across her lap like she expected the creature to return. The room felt strange with her inside. Too small for someone her size, too quiet for someone with her warrior nature. Every few minutes, she sniffed the air again, her eyes half closed, as if she could read secrets in every breath. Evan watched her carefully, unsure if she was angry, annoyed, or actually concerned about him. Rykala, he finally whispered, "Are you sure someone followed me?" She did not look at him. "I do not guess about danger. I smell it, but why me? I'm just a human. I don't have anything special." She turned her head slowly. "Humans are rare here. Some aliens think rare things are useful. Some think they are lucky. Some think they can be traded." Evan's heart thudded painfully. Traded. Like an animal. Her jaw tightened. Some planets have cruel beliefs. Voronoc is not gentle. You already know this. Evan had seen many strange things in his short time here. But the idea that someone wanted to claim him like a prize made him feel sick. "But someone just followed me at the market? For what?" Rykala rose from the chair, her movement slow and heavy. "Tell me exactly where you went." "Every place." "Every person you spoke to?" Evan thought hard. "I went to the docking station first. They refused to hire me back. Then I went to the repair shops. Then the food market. Then the small metal trader on the corner." Rykala's eyes sharpened. "The metal trader? Did he touch you? Did he get close to you? Did he ask strange questions?" Evan felt the hair on his arms rise. He did stare at me for a long time. And he sniffed the air near me. I thought it was normal here." She shook her head. "Not normal. Not with that kind of stare." She paced the small room, the floor creaking under her feet. "If he marked your scent, then others could follow it. The claw mark means someone has already claimed you. But we do not know who. Or why." Evan sat at the edge of the bed, rubbing his forehead. "I'm in danger because someone sniffed me." Rykala stopped pacing. "On Voronoc, scent is powerful. It can show weakness. It can show fear. It can make enemies think they can take you." Evan looked at her helplessly. "Why do you care? You could just throw me out. I can't even pay you." Rykala stared at him for a long moment. Her silver eyes softened slightly, though her voice stayed strong. "Because you live under my roof. Because I do not allow hunters to walk freely. And because—" She hesitated, choosing her words. "I have seen humans before. Most do not survive long here. But you try. You work. You try again. That deserves protection." Evan felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had never expected kindness from a giant alien warrior who could break him with one hand. He nodded slowly. "Thank you." "I guess." Before she could reply, a sudden crash echoed outside the tower. Something hit the outer wall hard enough to shake dust from the ceiling. Rykala grabbed her hammer and moved to the window. Evan followed carefully, staying behind her massive frame. Outside, in the darkness, figures moved, tall, thin silhouettes with glowing red eyes. They skittered along the stone walls like insects too large to belong in any world. Ricalla whispered. Shadow trackers? Evan swallowed. That sounds bad. It is. She said, they hunt by scent. And they do not stop. One of the creatures turned its head sharply, as if it sensed their gaze. It hissed, long and low, before crawling up toward Evan's window. Ricalla pulled him back. Do not move. Do not breathe loudly. The creature stopped at the window edge. Its long claws tapped the glass. Evan felt his heart hammering so hard he feared the creature could hear it. It sniffed the air, searching, hunting, learning his scent. Then, just as suddenly, it crawled away, leaving behind another mark, a symbol scratched into the stone with chilling precision. Ricalla examined it with a dark frown. This is a tracking vow. They will return. In greater numbers, Evan looked at her with fear he could not hide. What do we do? Ricalla finally met his eyes, voice calm but filled with resolve. Now, human. We prepare for war. By morning, Evan felt like he had aged 10 years. He had barely slept, and when he did, he dreamed of red eyes and clicking claws crawling down the walls. Ricalla, however, looked the same as always, strong, steady, and ready for a fight. She opened the window at sunrise and sniffed the air again. This time she cursed under her breath, a deep growl rising in her throat. They stayed close, she said. They watched us all night. Evan rubbed his face with shaking hands. Why me? Why not someone else? There are other humans on this planet. Not many, Ricalla replied. And not many with a scent that calls hunters. Evan frowned. My scent. Why is my scent so important? I'm just a normal man. No, she said firmly. There is nothing normal here. She turned away, as if hiding a thought she did not want to say yet. Evan felt a heavy silence between them. He finally stood up and faced her. Ricalla, tell me the truth. What did that claw mark mean? Why are they claiming me? She exhaled slowly, then walked to her weapons cabinet. She pulled out a long spear with glowing runes on the handle. She held it like a teacher about to explain something dangerous. On Varanak, she said, there are two ways to be claimed. One is by law, and the other is by force. The hunters use force. They think that if they mark your door, you are theirs to take. But the law says otherwise. Evan listened carefully. What does the law say? If someone from a respected clan claims you first, then no hunter can touch you. Ever? Evan blinked. So, I just need someone to claim me. Who would even do that? Ricalla stared at him without blinking. Me? Evan nearly choked. You? But you're my landlord, and I can't even pay rent. She stepped closer, towering over him, her voice calm but carrying weight. Humans do not understand Threxian customs. Claiming does not mean owning. It means protection. It means responsibility. It means the hunter clans cannot attack you without attacking me, and they do not dare attack me. But why would you take that risk? Evan asked quietly, you don't need all this trouble. You don't even know me. Ricalla looked away for a moment, breaking eye contact for the first time since he met her. I know enough, she said. I know you work hard even when everything goes wrong. I know you do not lie to me. I know you try to survive on a world that does not welcome outsiders. And I know that hunters take what they want. I will not allow that. Evan felt heat rising behind his eyes, fear mixed with something close to gratitude. So what do we do? How does this claiming work? Ricalla's expression shifted, almost uncomfortable. It is simple. I speak your name in front of the clan council. I place my hand on your shoulder. I declare you under my shield. After that, no one can take you. Not trackers, not hunters, not rival clans. Evan nodded slowly. Okay. If that keeps me alive. Then yes, I accept. Rykala did not move. She stared at him with strange intensity. If you accept, then you accept all of it. You become part of my clan. You follow my rules. You stay where I tell you. You trust me to protect you. Do you understand? Evan took a breath. I think so. Suddenly, a loud knock shook the tower again. Not like before. This time it was harder, angrier. Rykala's face darkened. She grabbed Evan by the arm and pulled him behind her as the knock came again. Shaking dust from the ceiling, "Stay back," she growled. The door burst open before she could reach it. 3 armored Threxians stepped inside. They were tall like Rykala, but thinner, with sharper features and golden armor plates. Their leader pointed a spear toward Evan. "Human," he said coldly, "our clan demands your surrender. You were marked last night. You belong to us now." Rykala stepped between them like a living mountain. "He belongs to no one." The leader smirked, "Then claim him. Right now, in front of witnesses. Or step aside." Evan's blood froze. Rykala clenched her jaw. One of the warriors leaned forward and whispered, "If you do not claim him, we will take him. And he will not survive long." Rykala's eyes burned. She turned to Evan, her voice low but filled with emotion he had never heard from her before. "Evan, do you trust me?" He swallowed hard. "Yes." Rykala placed her giant hand on his shoulder, facing the intruders. "Then hear my words. I claim this human under my shield, under my name, under my protection." A heavy silence filled the tower. The rival warriors stared with anger and fear. The leader hissed, "You have made an enemy today." Rykala, she lifted her hammer slowly. "Good." The intruders retreated. But not before leaving a chilling promise. "If you protect him, then we go to war." The door slammed shut. Evan looked at Rykala with shaking breath. "What have we done?" Rykala stared at the door, her voice calm but cold as stone. "We started something," she said, "and now we finish it." The tower felt colder after the rival Threxians left. Their threat still hung in the air like smoke. Evan sat on the edge of his bed, trying to steady his breath, but his hands still shook. Rykala locked the door, then checked every window and every corner of the room with sharp, angry movements. She was not scared. She was furious. "Them showing up here means something," she muttered. "Pacing the room like a storm trapped in a small space means what?" Evan asked quietly. "It means someone told them where you live," she said. "Someone inside my clan." Evan felt a wave of unease. "So, someone from your own people wants them to take me?" Rykala nodded tightly. "Yes, someone betrayed my house. No hunter clan knows this tower unless one of us speaks." Evan leaned back, legs weak. "Why would someone betray you? You're strong. You're respected." Rykala stopped walking. Her voice was quieter now, heavy. "Strength creates enemies. Respect creates jealousy. Some want power that I refuse to give." Evan listened carefully. He was starting to see that life on Varanak was far more dangerous than he ever understood. Here, loyalty was rare, and betrayal grew fast like fire on dry grass. "What do we do now?" Evan asked. Rykala's eyes hardened. "Now, we find the traitor." They left the tower through the back tunnels, hidden under stone panels. Rykala walked ahead, her hammer strapped across her back, her steps confident even in the dim light. Evan followed close behind, trying to match her pace but failing. The tunnels smelled like dust and old metal, and the deeper they went, the more he felt like they were traveling into the throat of a sleeping beast. "Where are we going?" Evan whispered to the Hall of Shields. She said, "My clan meets there." "I will confront them." Evan hesitated. "What if they try to take me?" Rykala looked over her shoulder. They will not breathe long enough to try. Despite the danger, Evan felt a strange comfort in her words. She wasn't just protecting him because she claimed him. Something deeper was growing, something she herself had not said aloud yet. When they reached the hall, massive stone doors opened before them. The room inside was circular, with a fire pit in the center and long spears lining the walls. About 20 Threxians stood waiting. Some bowed to Rykala respectfully. Others stared at Evan with curiosity or open dislike. Evan stayed behind her, his heart pounding. Rykala raised her voice, strong and commanding. "One of you sent the hunters. One of you betrayed my house." Murmurs spread through the room. A tall Threxian male with bronze skin stepped forward, his expression cold. "You bring a human into our clan, Rykala. That is the real betrayal." Evan froze. The man's eyes were full of hatred, but not for him. For Rykala, she stepped closer to him, towering over him. "Do not pretend to care about the clan. Your jealousy is louder than your honor," he smirked. "Why risk our lives for a weak off-worlder? Why claim him? What makes him so important?" Rykala did not answer immediately. Evan saw her jaw tighten. She wasn't angry, she was holding something back. Something personal. The bronze-skinned Threxian raised his spear, pointing it toward Evan. "If you give him to the hunters now, we avoid war." Evan's stomach twisted. That man wanted him gone. Rykala's hammer hit the floor with a sound like thunder. "He is under my shield. Touch him, and you challenge me?" Gasps echoed across the hall. Challenging Rykala meant certain death. But the bronze warrior only smiled wider. "Then I challenge your decision. If he stays, we fall." A female elder stepped forward, her voice slow like wind over mountains. "Then a trial must decide." Evan looked at Rykala worriedly. "Trial?" She nodded once. "A test of truth. If the traitor is revealed, the claim stands. If not, we lose everything." The elder placed her hand on the fire pit. Flames rose higher, swirling into shape symbols Evan couldn't read. The trial had begun. Suddenly, the flames twisted into a single image, a clawed hand reaching for Evan's face. Gasps rose again. Rykala growled, "Show us the traitor." The flames shifted and formed the shape of a familiar spear crest. The bronze warrior's crest shouts exploded in the hall. The traitor had been revealed. The man lunged at Evan with a roar of rage, but Rykala moved faster than lightning. She slammed him to the floor, her hammer at his throat. The clan watched, stunned, as she growled, "You betrayed us. You led hunters to our door. You endangered a life under my protection." The man spat blood. "He is nothing." Rykala's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. "He is mine to protect." The hall fell silent. Everyone understood the meaning behind her words. Not just protection, not just duty, something deeper. The elder nodded slowly. "The traitor will be punished. The human remains under your shield." Rykala pulled Evan back to her side, her hand steady on his shoulder. "You are safe," she told him softly, "but this war is only beginning." After the traitor was dragged away, the Hall of Shields slowly emptied. But the fear, shock, and whispered questions still hung in the air. Evan followed Rykala back through the stone tunnels, his legs weak, his mind spinning. Everything was moving so fast. First hunters, then a clan challenge, then a trial by fire. And now? He learned someone inside her own clan wanted him dead. Rykala walked in silence, but her steps were heavier than before. She wasn't just guarding him now. She was thinking, planning, preparing. Evan could feel the weight pressing on her, even though she tried to hide it. When they reached the tower, she finally spoke, her voice low. "Sit. We talk now?" Evan sat on the edge of the bed. Rykala stayed standing, arms crossed, eyes sharp. She looked like a warrior facing a battlefield, not a friend speaking to a man she had just protected with her life. "There is something you must know," she began. "Something I did not tell you earlier." Evan frowned. "About the hunters." "No," she said, shaking her head slowly. "About you." Evan's stomach tightened. "About me. But I'm normal." "I'm nothing special," Raikala looked at him for a long moment, her silver eyes reading him like a story carved in stone. "Evan, there is a reason the hunters chose you. A reason the traders sold your location. A reason your scent travels farther than other humans." Evan waited, heart beating fast. Finally, she said it. "You carry a genetic marker." Evan blinked. "Ah. What? How?" "I didn't do anything. This is not something you choose," she explained. "It is something you are born with. Something rare. And on Varnock, rare things attract danger." Evan felt his chest tighten. "So this is my fault. This whole mess because of something in my blood." Raikala stepped closer, her voice steady. "Not your fault. Never your fault. But the truth must be spoken." She took a deep breath and continued. "Long ago, the Threxian clans believed certain beings brought strength, unity, or fortune. We call them marked ones. They had a unique scent only hunters and trackers could detect. Your scent is one of them?" Evan stared at her in disbelief. "But I'm human." "I don't belong to your legends," Raikala nodded. "Yet the marker is there. And the hunters believe that whoever owns a marked one gains power, influence, even victory in war. That is why you were tracked. That is why your door was claw-marked. They want to control your fate." Evan felt cold. "So I'm basically a tool to them." "A good luck charm, yes," she said softly. "To them, you are valuable. Not as a person. As an item. A prize." He looked down at his hands, trembling. "I don't want to be a prize. I didn't ask for this." Raikala knelt in front of him, so they were eye level. It was strange seeing someone so large move so carefully. "I know, and I will not let them take you. Not while you are under my shield." Evan's voice cracked. "Why? Why are you doing all this? You could let the clan decide. You could walk away. Let me hide. Let me run." Her expression softened not with anger, not with duty, but with something deeper. "Because you trust me. Because you stood with me in the hall. Because you did not run when the hunters came. Because you matter." Evan looked up, surprised. He did not know what he was expecting, but it was not this. Raikala stood again and walked to the window, watching the 3 moons rise. This planet is harsh, but it respects strength. And sometimes, the smallest being shows the greatest courage. Evan approached her, standing beside her, though he barely reached her shoulder. "So what do we do now?" "The hunters won't stop. The traders' clan won't stop." Raikala nodded. "They won't. And worse, they will return in greater numbers." Evan swallowed, fear creeping back. "So how do we fight them?" Raikala turned toward him, her expression serious. "We do not run. We do not hide. We prepare?" Evan asked quietly. "Prepare for what?" Her voice was steady, powerful, for war. The room felt smaller. The air felt heavier. Evan's heartbeat thudded loudly in his ears. "War, because of me." "Not because of you," she corrected. "Because they believe they can take what is mine to protect." A moment of silence passed. Then she placed a hand on his shoulder, gentler this time. "You are not alone in this. I will train you. I will teach you. You may be small, but you are clever. And courage is a weapon too." Evan took a breath, nodding slowly. "Okay, then teach me." "I won't let you fight alone." Raikala's silver eyes glowed brighter. "Good. Then tomorrow, your training begins. but neither of them knew that the enemy had already arrived at the city gates and, by sunrise, the first attack would begin. Evan woke before sunrise. Not because he was ready for training, but because the ground itself was shaking. At first, he thought it was a dream. Then the shaking grew stronger, like something massive was walking through the city streets. Rykala was already awake, her hammer in hand. Eyes sharp and glowing in the dim light. They came earlier than expected. She said quietly. Evan jumped to his feet. Who? The hunters? No, she answered. Worse. The rival clans, a deep horn, echoed through the city, loud enough to rattle windows. Outside, shadows moved across rooftops, armored Threxians, dozens of them, marching with weapons raised. Evan felt his heart nearly stop. They're really coming for me. They come for power, Rykala said, and they come for revenge. I humiliated them in the hall. They will try to break us. She tossed a small metal device to Evan. Strap this to your arm. It will protect your skin from cuts. Evan quickly strapped it on, though his hands shook. Are you sure I can help? I don't want to slow you down. Rykala looked at him firmly. You stand with me. That already changes the battle. Courage shifts fate. Before he could respond, the tower door exploded inward. Dust and smoke filled the entrance. 3 rival warriors stormed inside with sharp spears. Their eyes locked on Evan instantly. There, the marked one. One hissed. Evan froze. Rykala did not. She moved like lightning. One swing of her hammer sent the first warrior crashing into the wall. The second tried to stab her, but she caught the spear with her bare hand, snapped it, and threw him across the room. The third charged toward Evan, but Rykala blocked him with her entire body. Roaring like a shield of living stone, no one touches him. She bellowed. Evan ducked behind a table as the warrior slammed into Rykala's arm. She knocked him out with a backhanded strike. Evan stared in shock. She fought like a storm made of muscle and fury. We must leave. She ordered. More will come. Evan followed her up the tower steps to the roof. From there, he saw the full horror below. The streets were swarming with rival clan members. Fires were lit, horns were blowing, and the sky filled with smoke. His name echoed through the crowd like a chant. Bring the human out. Bring the marked one. Evan's stomach twisted. They'll destroy the city just to get me. Rykala grabbed him by the shoulders. This is not your fault. This is their greed. Do not carry their sins. A loud screech cut through the sky. Evan looked up and saw something enormous flying above them, shadow trackers riding on winged beasts. Their claws glowed red in the sunrise. And they were all looking at him. Rykala growled. They joined forces. Hunters and rivals together. This has never happened. Evan felt fear shake his entire body. What do we do? They're everywhere. Rykala knelt beside him, placing her large hands on his shoulders. Listen carefully. You are not powerless. You think small, but you feel deeply. Use that. Watch them, learn them, find openings. Your strength is in your mind, not your muscles. Evan nodded nervously. Okay. I'll try. Rykala lifted him onto her back, effortless for someone her size, and leaped across to the next rooftop. The wind whipped past Evan's face as she ran and jumped again, moving faster than any human could imagine. Below them, warriors shouted and tried to follow, but she stayed ahead. Suddenly, a winged tracker swooped down at them. Evan screamed as its claws reached for him. Rykala spun, hammer swinging upward. The creature shrieked as the hammer struck its wing, sending it crashing into a nearby tower. We head to the cliffs. She shouted, they cannot surround us there. But as they reached the next roof, a group of rival warriors blocked their path. Rykala lowered Evan onto the ground behind her. Stay behind me, she whispered. The warriors laughed. The giant protects the human like a child protects a toy. One sneered. Move aside, Raikala. He belongs to us. Raikala stepped forward. Voice cold enough to freeze air. You may take my roof, my tower, or my name. But you will not take him. They attacked all at once. Evan scrambled backward as steel clashed against Raikala's hammer. She fought 3 at once, but even she began to slow. Sweat formed on her skin. One warrior cut her arm. She didn't cry out, but Evan saw the pain in her eyes. Then something inside Evan clicked. He grabbed a broken piece of roof tile and shouted, Raikala! Duck! She trusted him instantly, dropped low, and Evan threw the tile with all his strength. It struck the nearest warrior in the face, distracting him just long enough for Raikala to knock him out cold. She looked back at Evan, surprised and proud. You learn fast, she said breathlessly, but more shadows were gathering. More warriors. More hunters. More winged beasts. Evan looked at the rising army with fear. There's too many. We can't win this alone. Raikala lifted her hammer again and said in a voice that shook the sky, then today. All of Varanak will learn why I do not lose. The enemy forces closed in from all sides, and the first great battle for the human began. The rooftop shook under Evan's feet as the enemy forces closed in from every direction. Winged trackers circled above like shadows ready to strike. Armored rival warriors climbed the walls. More climbed from building to building. Evan could feel their eyes on him, the marked one, the prize they wanted to claim. Raikala stood in front of him, her hammer raised, breathing hard but unbroken. She looked like a living fortress, a shield made of muscle and fire. Evan stood behind her, gripping a broken spear handle with trembling hands. He didn't know how long he could fight. He didn't know if they could win. But he knew one thing. He would not leave her alone. The first wave hit them with terrifying speed. 5 warriors leaped forward, spears raised. Raikala met them head-on. Her hammer struck the rooftop with a boom that sent dust exploding into the air. She blocked, struck, and dodged with ferocious skill. Evan watched everything, trying to learn, trying to help. But then a tracker swooped from above, claws outstretched toward him. Evan stumbled backward. Before it could reach him, Raikala threw her hammer like a spinning comet. It smashed into the beast's chest, sending it falling off the rooftop. Stay behind me. She roared, retrieving her hammer with a leap. Evan nodded, though fear squeezed his heart. I'm trying. He shouted. More warriors climbed up, their armor glowing with strange red energy. Their leader, a tall, sharp-featured Threxian with black tattoos, stepped forward. His voice carried over the battlefield. Raikala, you fight alone. Give up the human, and your clan will be spared. Raikala lifted her hammer, her voice steady and deadly. My clan fears no cowards, and he is under my shield. Touch him, and you face me. The leader snarled. Then today, your clan will fall. He charged. Their weapons clashed with sparks. Raikala fought fiercely, but even she began to tire. Her knees bent slightly under the force of the strike. Evan felt panic rise. He had to do something. He grabbed a piece of broken metal and tried to flank the enemy leader. But another warrior blocked his path, swinging a spear toward him. Evan ducked instinctively. The spear grazed his shoulder, sending pain shooting down his arm. He didn't give up. He slammed the metal piece into the warrior's knee. The warrior roared in pain, giving Raikala an opening to strike the leader across the chest. The impact made the rooftop crack beneath them. You learn quickly, Raikala said breathlessly. I'm learning because I don't want you to die. Evan shouted back, but the battle was far from over. The enemy leader recovered and signaled with his spear. More warriors climbed the roof, at least 10, maybe 20. Too many. Evan's heart sank. We can't fight them all, he whispered. Rykala glanced at him. For the first time, he saw something in her eyes he had never seen before: fear. Not for herself, but for him. She stepped in front of him again. Then we fight until we cannot stand, she said. And if we fall together. Evan tightened his grip on the broken spear handle. No, I won't let you fall. The warriors charged again, but something unexpected happened. A loud horn blasted through the air, different from the enemy horns. Stronger, deeper. Rykala turned sharply. Her eyes widened. My clan. They came, she breathed, from the far rooftops. Dozens of Threxians appeared. Warriors from her clan carrying shields, hammers, and spears leaped across buildings, shouting battle cries that shook the sky. They crashed into the enemy forces with unstoppable fury. Chaos erupted. The rooftop became a storm of metal, fire, and roars. Rykala's clan fought like thunder given flesh. The enemy clan began to fall back. The trackers fled into the clouds. The leader tried to escape, but Rykala tackled him to the ground. You came for what is mine, she growled. Now face judgment with one final strike of her hammer. The battle ended, silence followed, broken only by Evan's heavy breathing and the crackling of distant fires. Rykala walked toward him, her armor cracked, her skin bruised, but her eyes soft. You fought well, she said quietly. For someone small, Evan gave a weak smile. I had a very large teacher. She knelt in front of him, placing her hand gently on his shoulder. Evan, you are no longer just under my shield. Today, you stood with me. You are part of my clan. By choice, not by law. Evan felt tears sting his eyes. I don't want to leave. Not anymore. This is home. Rykala nodded slowly, a rare smile forming on her stern face. Then stay. Stay with my clan. Stay with me. Evan took a deep breath and placed his hand over hers. I will. The rising sun broke through the smoke, lighting the rooftop in warm gold. Below them, warriors cheered the end of the battle. Above them, the three moons faded into morning blue. And the smallest human on Varanak stood beside the strongest warrior, not as a prize, not as a burden, but as family. HFY.